Hello and welcome. Bill Terra here. Well, it's a very stormy day here in southern England, and I hope it doesn't start thundering and lightning again, so that we don't get disturbed too much. Today I want to talk to you about one of the central ideas of macrobiotic philosophy, and that is that nutrition has a profound effect on the biology of the brain, and thus in the way we think. This fact was largely ignored by Western science until the past few decades, and now there are volumes of science to back that idea up. You would think that this would be a logical conclusion because the brain is nourished by our blood. The basic constituents of our blood are the foods that we eat, the beverages we consume, and the air that we breathe. The brain uses up to 20% of the body's energy, mostly in keeping with all those neurons functioning, but also for housekeeping functions like cell repair. It uses 25% of all the oxygen we breathe. And many of additional vitamins and minerals are essential for good brain function and are taken in the form of precursors. Those are items that we take in our daily food consumption. Now, precursors are inorganic substances, that can be converted into vitamins and enzymes. And precursors are found in abundance in such foods as complex carbohydrates, the flavonoids found in fruits and vegetables, beans, some minerals, and water-soluble vitamins. Most commonly, they enhance the function of specific transmitter systems in the brain. Flavonoids, for example, seem to improve cognitive function. Eating a vegan macrobiotic diet provides what is called precursor loading. There is a density of these factors in the diet that we all eat. The effect of precursor loading is seen over months and years. It's not a dramatic shift in brain function. It doesn't cause a dramatic shift in perception or behavior. It's part of a healing process. It gets expressed in a number of ways. One is a tolerance to stress, greater ability to focus, and even better executive function, executive goals. It means that we move closer to our true capacities. Part of this process of brain health involves serotonin. Serotonin is a neurotransmitter that helps regulate sleep and appetite. It mediates moods and inhibits pain. 95% of our serotonin is produced in our gut. Our intestinal tract is lined with hundreds of millions of nerve cells or neurons, and it makes sense that the inner workings of your digestive system don't just help you digest food, but also guide your emotions. What's more, the function of these neurons and the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin is highly influenced by the billions of good bacteria that make up your intestinal microbiome. One of the most fascinating topics to surface in human physiology is the relationship between the microbiome and brain functions. The various parts of the body are intimately connected and in constant communication. And that's nowhere nearer fact than the connection between the gut and the brain. A feedback network has been discovered between the gut and the brain that goes far beyond messages about hunger. Those gut feelings that we may refer to now and again have a basis. Conditions such as depression, a variety of cognitive disorders, and memory impairment can be a direct response to messages from the gut. The connection here between this science perspective and macrobiotics is clear. The focus in Macrobiotics' writing was that the purpose of health was to develop and refine what he labeled as judgment. Perhaps not the best word because of negative connotations in modern usage. We might use the word consciousness, but I think I'll stick with his terminology for now. In his writing, our judgment describes how we make choices in our life, how we perceive the world around us, and how we act on those perceptions. In this slide, we see the template that Osawa created to describe our growth into the world, beginning with the mechanics of our biology, our organic will to stay alive. He saw our growth out into the world as one based on health, awareness, and strength of mind. It's obvious that Osawa's vision of the mind-body relationship was based on the fact that the individual has the potential to increase their consciousness and deepen and broaden their field of perception and action. Now, today, what I'm going to do is focus on the bottom 4 attributes: instinct, sensitivity, and emotional stability, and the concepts that we have as they relate to macrobiotic practice. Using his understanding of spiral dynamics, Osawa visualized this process as an ever-expanding path outward from our biological, emotional, and social life into a greater understanding of the deeper pulse of human interaction with nature and the forces that animate natural process. It is at base an ecological process in its approach. If we respect the laws of nature and create balance with them, we thrive. Living in balance with nature is productive of both physical, mental, and spiritual health. When that balance is broken, we perish. That's pretty straightforward. The qualities Osawa indicated are seen to be the foundation for further development. These bottom 4 levels of judgment, as he stated, those are the primary building blocks of our sense of self, and they underline our character. Now, I'm going to be talking about levels of judgment in a future talk, but for now, I want to concentrate on these foundational levels. When the personal attributes of health and stability are established, Osawa shifts his attention to specific intellectual and cultural influences. The nutrition of the brain connections discovered since Osawa's time support many of his conclusions. This includes not only the effect of diet on cognitive function and sensitivity, but also on emotional equilibrium. It would be a mistake to take this progression as literal steps that have to be taken and accomplished in order for us to grow. That process of growing into our judgment is not a mechanical process. Having a healthy gut biome does not dictate increased sensitivity or emotional peace. It simply increases the potential for those capacities. We're nourished by our environment in many ways, and I believe Osawa knew that. Our environment includes the cities or towns we're raised in, our culture, our families, our religion, and all of the ideas that animate our inner life. These strata of development embrace both perception and action. They also influence whether we accept or reject the actions and beliefs that we're exposed to. We're not a blank slate upon which anyone can write. Ideas either make sense to us or they don't. The degree of influence that our biology, sensory acuity, and emotional life open us to different ideas is yet to be proven, but it is certain that the power of ideas and the fusion of our character is undeniable. Belief systems are also food. They're food for the mind. Osawa placed conceptual or intellectual judgment as a bridge between our personal experience and the broader world of society. Concepts inform the way we organize the information that we receive through our own experience, our education, and the learned beliefs of those around us. They may either help to nourish and broaden our vision of the world we live in, or stifle and reduce our experience of life. In our macrobiotic community, we have a broad range of concepts to pick through. Many of these ideas come directly from Japanese folk traditions. Some are adaptations from other Asian sources, esoteric teachings, selective bits of science, or philosophy. I'm sure that many of us would agree that our belief systems can be used to justify our sensory or emotional preferences as an evasion of an uncomfortable truth. We can always find a reason to do that which we already love to do. We can lift a concept from some holy scripture, political theory, astrological prediction, or even a macrobiotic text to rationalize our behavior or thinking. We can say that our beliefs are based on deep thought or advanced sensitivities, logic, or a convenient intuition, but they might not hold up to critical thinking. Now, that's not a problem. We all do that, and the internet has made it more possible. The internet is a smorgasbord of opinion. You just stroll down the aisles of Google and take your pick. The problem is that if these beliefs restrict our growth or dampen critical thinking, we do not evolve, and our potential is put on hold. Using the reason of tradition is one of those concepts that are given value. Tradition is certainly a cultural consideration that can be and often is useful, but that use can be a constraint on progress. This is particularly true if those traditions are based on conditions that have radically changed over time. I often hear that macrobiotics is a traditional diet or based on traditional thinking, but that's a difficult claim to prove and may not even be wise. While most macrobiotic foods were used in previous times and by many cultures, macrobiotics as practiced is a very modern synthesis of many influences. If our understanding of nutrition, as well as other important aspects of life, do not reflect the needs of our times, we are in error. We have inherited many ideas and social habits from our teachers. Some of these ideas and habits are useful, even profound, and some are not. The question is if we can adapt our habits and concepts while still respecting the spirit of their origin. I believe that we can. I hope that you do too. So that's all for now. Next week I'm going to be talking about nutrition, which is always fun in front of a group of macrobiotic people. I want to thank you for listening. Please join Marlene and I in service for a healthy world for humans and non-humans alike. Bye now. Have a great day.